Hello fellow mathematicians. Today we're going to be looking at solving equations using inverse operations. So grab your guided worksheets and let's begin. So today you'll be learning firstly how to identify the functions and the order of those functions in an equation, and then you need to be able to do that so you can use the inverse operation to solve for the unknown, which we call a pronumeral. So that's the variable in an equation. Just remember, an equation has blah blah equals blah blah, whatever. Success criteria: I can identify the function and order of an equation. I can inverse the order and function of the equation. It just means that you can go backwards to solve it for an unknown pronumeral, and I can substitute my solution into the original to check that you get the right answer. So you don't necessarily need to look at the answers to make sure you're right. If you plug it back in, so that means substitute, hopefully it works and then you know that you're right. So for us to be able to make sure that you're on the right track, we're going to review the order of operations. So it depends on your teacher, and I change all the time because some primary schools use BIDMAS, which is brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction, or BODMAS, which is brackets, order, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction, or BIDMAS, same deal, BIMDAS, brackets, indices, multiplication or division, and then addition and subtraction. So I'm just going to quickly go over this to make sure that you can remember how to use it. So you have an equation. Here's an equation. Does it have brackets? If it does, then you do the brackets first, whether it's plus, minus, multiplication or division, whatever's inside the brackets, you do that first. If it doesn't, then you go to step 2. You ask the next question. Does it have indices or powers? If so, you work out the powers. Then you go on to the next step. Does it have division or multiplication? It doesn't matter which order because you read it left to right. So if it does, then that's what you do next. If you're reading left to right, you'll do, if it's multiplication first, you do multiplication, reading left to right, division next. So that's why over here it can be BIMDAS, because if it's multiplication first and then division, you do it that way. If it's division first and multiplication, you just do it in the order left to right. Same with addition or subtraction. Does it have addition or subtraction? If so, then work this out next, reading left to right. Remember, you can do subtraction before you do addition. It's not a big deal. Remember, the sign in front belongs to it. Sometimes we might need to simplify when necessary. So if we had expressions, which we've done before, you collect your like terms and then you go into this deal. Okay, to be able to solve equations, you must be able to identify what is happening and what order. We don't look at the answer unless it has a pronumeral, and we will look at that later. So this is how we're starting. You must be able to identify what's happening first. So this one. What is happening to the pronumeral in the equation? So in this case, the pronumeral is the x. So you can see what's happening to the x. It's next to it. So we know that next to it means times, and then it's adding 2. I'm not even looking at the answer yet. We're going to look at these later on. So this is 3 times x and then plus 2. The reason we're doing these harder ones, or it looks more difficult, it really isn't. It's just about identifying the process first. So here I've got x. You've got to look at that first. So you can see, what am I doing to the x first? I'm going 5 times x. Then I'm adding 1. And then whatever that answer is, I'm then dividing by 3. Again, I'm not looking at the answer for the problem. So it's, what this means is 5 times x plus 1. And whatever that answer is, I divide by 3. So you can see, looking at this, that you really actually have to think about it sometimes. So now I'm looking at C. I'm identifying where x is. So x is here next to the 4. So it's going to be 4 times x, whatever that answer is, divide by 3, and then I'm going to add 3. So repeat that, 4 times x, divide by 3, and then you add 3. And then you can say it equals 11. So I hope that has helped you understand. They look a bit complex, but really they're not. You just got to be systematic. To be able to solve equations, we need to make sure we know the inverse, which just means the opposite. See how that's why I've written opposite function here. Inverse operations means we use the opposite function. So if I have multiplied, the opposite to multiply is division. Or we also use a slant sign. The opposite to division is multiplication. Now the reason I've put this in is I need you to really understand if it's a fraction, it just means divide. Fractions look like that because they mean division. Whatever's on the top divided by whatever's on the bottom. What's the opposite to division? We've just got it there. It's multiplication. What's the opposite to adding or sum, or there's lots of different terms, plussing? What's the opposite? You're right, it's subtraction. What's the opposite to subtraction or takeaway? Again, you would probably be right because you've been doing it forever. That would be addition. Now, this here means -2 times x. So the opposite to multiplying by -2. So the opposite to multiplying by -2 would be dividing by -2. And that will get rid of it. Remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it's important that you show all working out as explicitly shown in the video for us to be able to solve equations. So let's begin. These are the questions from above. So this is giving you an insight into what is being done to the pronumeral already. So now all we're doing is implementing the inverse operations. You'll see that I've drawn a red line under the equals. It's just so that you can make sure you keep your left-hand side. Just means left-hand side equals the right-hand side. It helps with your setting out. It makes sure that you are keeping your sides opposite or sides in the right spot. It really is important with your working out. So this is 3 times x plus 2. I'm not even going to look at the answer. I'm just going to cover it. 3 times x plus 2. So the last thing I said is plus 2. So the first thing I get rid of is the plus 2. The opposite thing is take 2. Law of the universe says whatever I do to one side, I must do the other. See how I've lined it up? It's really important because it helps with this concept. Positive 2 take 2 leaves 0. We don't need to write that. So what am I left with on the right hand side? 3x, so I write down what's left over. 5 take 2 equals 3. So now I go on to the next one. This is 3 times x. Again, I don't even look at the answer. I don't care. It's all about trying to get x by itself. So in this case, 3 times x. What's the opposite to times? That would be divide. Whatever you do to one side, you must do the other. Now we work it out. 3 divided by 3 leaves 1. So we'll write down what's left. 3 divided by 3 leaves 1. X equals 1. So now what I want you to do is I want you to substitute that value back into the equation to check it. So we will. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. Oh my lord, that worked out. Underline it to see that you've done it. So this equation here is 5 times x plus 1, whatever the answer is, divide by 3 equals 7. So I'm just going to not look at the 7 for a second. So 5 times x plus 1 divided by 3. The last thing I said is divide by 3. So what I need to do is times. The opposite to divide is times. Law of the universe says whatever I do to one side, I must do the other. I've made it a fraction because that way you know that that's on the top line. And now we work it out. That cancels out and you're left with 5x plus 1 on the left hand side. On the right hand side, we'll just move the box. 7 times 3 is 21. So again, not interested in the answer. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is solve the next bit. 5 times x plus 1. What's the last thing I said? Plus 1. So you've got to take 1 from both sides. And now solve it. What's left on this side? Plus 1, take 1, leaves 0, so we don't worry about that. What is left? 5x equals, now I'll get rid of the box, 21, take 1, write down what's left, is 20. So again, I'm ignoring whatever the answer is. 5 times x, what's the opposite to times? See how I don't even care what the answer is because I know whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. So what's left? That leaves 1x equals, move the box. Okay, 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay, so now we're going to check the answer, sub it back in. 5 times 4 plus 1. 5 times 4 is 20, 20 is 21, divided by 3 equals 7. Yes, that worked, underline it. Okay, so the last one, 4 times x divided by 3 plus 3. So here we go. Cover the answer because we don't care, just cover it with your hand. I know that you'll be looking if I didn't cover it. So it's 4 times x plus, 4 times x divided by 3 plus 3. The last thing I said was plus 3, so the first thing I have to do is take 3. Law of the universe says whatever I do to one side, I must do the other. Okay, they're lined up for a reason. That's 0. Write down what's left. 4x over 3. Please don't skip these steps. 11 take 3 is 8. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, I'm just checking. Often make mistakes, you know you have to check my answers. Alright, there you go, covered it up, I don't care about that answer. So this is 4 times x divided by 3. So the last thing I said was divided by 3. How do I get rid of it? I times by 3 on 1 because it's a fraction. Law of the universe says whatever I do to one side I must do the other. They cancel out, so that's why we did fractions before we did anything else in our unit. And now get rid of the box because now I'm doing my right hand side. 8 times 3 is 24. Over 1, I don't need to put the over 1. Again, not interested in the answer. This is 4 times x. What's the opposite to times? Or inverse operation if you want to be technical. Divide by 4. Law of the universe says whatever you do to one side, you must do the other. Keep my sides going. 4 divided by 4 leaves 1. So I'm left with x equals, yay, I've got x all by itself. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Now we check our answer. Put that back into here. So I'll just write it outside. 4 times 6 equals 24. 24 divided by 3 equals 8. 8 plus 3 equals 11. Yes, it works. Underline it. Bob's your uncle, all done. So now we've done that, I want you to remember the best way to learn maths is to do maths. So I need you to have a go. Try it yourself. Practice makes progress. Ask for help if you need.